Five, four, three, two, one, zero. Let's start the party.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Brian, and welcome to AP Euro Radio.
Topic today, global migration around 1900. Reportedly more than 60 million people left Europe. So Brian, can you give me a quick summary of who was migrating where and why during this period?
Yes, the majority of people who were migrating were moving to the West. The impact of the West on the world in the 19th century was extremely powerful and had multiple sides. Lots of Europeans also left to go to America. America's population grew from 6 million to 81 million from 1800 to 1900.
So what happened with birth and death rates during this stage?
Birth rates declined in the 19th century, but so did death rates. To add, the population of Europe had already boomed prior during the 1800s, in which it went from 188 million to 422 million people.
Isn't it true that from 1815 to 1932, 60 million people left Europe?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
So, where did they go?
Hey, say something. Neo-European regions such as North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, and Siberia.
Is it also true that people of European origin went from 24% to 38% of the world population before World War I?
Yes. There were many people emigrating from Europe.
I also think it would be fair to say that because of overpopulation, those in rural areas went to urban areas to find jobs and industry.
I agree with you, and would like to add that those who left Europe mainly were from the cities. These people mainly left in the 1850s.
Oh, that's a great point. A lot of people who left came from Britain and Ireland. 1/3 of all migrants came from the British Isles.
Germans also emigrated, with peaks of their emigration coming from the 1850s and 1880s.
Although, after industrialization grew more and more, people were provided with jobs at home, and this pattern stopped.
The opposite happened in Italy, as emigration increased up until 1914.
Brian, do you think it's fair to conclude that migration patterns were dependent on the economic and social conditions of this time?
Oh yeah. Before wrapping up the discussion, I'd like to clear up a common misconception. European emigration didn't always mean immigration to the United States.
I thought the U.S. absorbed a number of European immigrants.
Although that is true, fewer than half of the immigrants went to the U.S. Other countries that they went to were Asiatic Russia, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Australia, and New Zealand. The immigrants in Argentina, Brazil, and Canada accounted for a larger population of the population than in the U.S.
Oh, now I understand. Although the U.S. got the most immigrants, many other countries also absorbed a lot of the European immigrants. Thanks a lot, Brian.
No problem, Chase. This is the AP Euro Radio, and we will be back shortly.
And stay classy, AP Euro students.
I am 1800 Europe, and I'm sad because I'm only 24% of the population. Here, eat a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Thanks. It's 1910 now, and I'm 38% of the population. Thanks, Snickers.
And we're back from the short commercial break. We have our first caller for the day, Ryan from Lafayette Hill. What's up?
Chase, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Chase. I'm from Plymouth Meeting, actually. But can you tell me a little bit about the European emigration? I'm in the AP European history class, and I honestly don't know anything.
Yes. The Europeans that left their countries typically were small farmers or artisans that wanted to stay ahead of poverty. They left their mother countries because of lack of available land and the growing availability of cheap factory-made goods.
Approximately how many people emigrated from Europe?
Around 40 million people from 1860 to 1940.
Wow. What are the Europeans that migrated like?
I can answer this one, Ryan. The Europeans brought many benefits to the country they went to. Many of them were young, unmarried, and ready to work hard. These people were really determined to improve their status.
Yes, they were perfect for factory and labor-intensive work.
Did most immigrants return home eventually, or did they just stay in their country that they went to?
Returning to their old country depended on nationality. For example, people from the Balkans were much more likely to return to their mother country. People from Ireland and Eastern European Jews were the opposite. They usually stayed in countries like the United States.
What made the Irish and the Jews want to stay in the countries they went to?
In Ireland, rich landowners usually owned all the land, leaving none for sale. In Russia, Jews faced great discrimination and were forced to live in the Pale of Settlement. Also, non-Jews owned most of the property, leaving none for the Jews.
What were Italians' initial feeling for the emigration?
Italians had no intention of permanently settling abroad.
Wow. What type of role did family and friendship ties have on the people?
Ties of family and friendship played a crucial role in the immigration process, even to the extent that they would do the whole immigration together.
Interesting. What countries did Italians go to?
United States, but before 1900, even greater numbers went to Argentina and Brazil.
What role did the swallows play for Italians?
Swallows went to Argentina to harvest in the winter. They came back for spring planting to repeat the exhaustion process. This was important to their economy.
What non-economic reasons caused the Europeans to leave their country?
European men and women were spurred to leave by the spirit of revolution and independence.
I heard that in Sweden, Norway, Jewish Russia, and Italy, young people felt frustrated by the power of the small authority in privileged areas, which was controlled by the church and the government. The authority resisted change, causing people to leave to gain basic human rights.
That's a great point, Ryan. I'm proud of you.
Great. Thanks for your help, guys. I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to listening to you guys every night.
We'll be back after this short break.
Are you one of the 45% USA-bound European immigrants? If this applies to you, welcome to our fantastic country. America is the perfect place for you to improve your status, so drop your artisan and small farmer titles and come over to the land of your dreams. Call 1-800-AMERICA now to book your trip, because about one-third of you will return home eventually, plus $4.95 for shipping and handling.
Hi, thanks for calling in, Johnny from Pyongyang. What can I help you with?
Hey Brian, I'm a big fan. I've just been visiting my grandparents right now, and I just want to know more about my Asian heritage. I have some few questions on Asian immigration.
Of course. What questions do you have for me?
Well, so where do most of the Asian populations emigrate to?
Well, a big portion of the Asians that left their homelands were from Japan, China, India, and the Philippines.
Wow, I'm just so confused. How did such a massive amount of people survive and take care of their family?
I couldn't describe the difficulty for all the families. Asian individuals were forced to work as indentured servants on the plantations or in gold mines all around the world for extremely low pay.
So would you say they were pretty much used as slaves at times?
Actually, yes. White estate owners replaced the blacks after the suppression of the slave trade, and many Chinese laborers lived as virtual slaves in places such as Cuba and Peru.
Did they never try to attain other sorts of jobs, or did they continuously work in poor conditions with low pay? Because it really doesn't make sense how so many Asians are doctors and professionals nowadays if they worked in the fields and gold mines back then.
Yes, many Asians are intelligent nowadays, but back then, this actually created a lot of conflict. Asians would attempt to seek greater opportunity, but they would come into conflict with the townspeople.
I'm guessing that's the reason why they wanted all the Asians out of the country.
Yes, unfortunately for the Asian immigrations, the American and Australian governments created an exclusionary act which kept Asians from entering their country.
No wonder so many of them need green cards to get in America.
Well, back then many countries were skeptical about foreigners and blocked out migration from Europe as well.
Wow, thanks for all the information, Brian. I can't wait for the next segment.
No problem, Johnny. Stay tuned for further history talk.
We'll see you guys next time on 101.2 AP Euro Radio. Thanks for listening.
Attention all Asian immigrants. After crossing the Pacific, are you going to the beautiful lands of Hawaii? If so, it is crucial to get vaccinated before going to the sugar plantations. Many natives have dealt with these fatal diseases and did not end well for them, so we are hoping that it ends better for you. Hawaii is full of dangerous diseases, so make sure to get your vaccinations. But wait, if you go get a vaccination in the next 5 minutes, we'll give you 2 for the price of 1. Limited time only.